We are back on Inside Politics. Our guest today, State Senator Jeff Yarborough and Metro Councilman Freddie O'Connell. They are both supporters of the transit plan that's on the May 1st referendum. We did, by the way, have Jeff Eller from No Tax for Tracks on an earlier show, so we have tried to present both sides of this issue. Gentlemen, you both represent portions of Davidson County. You're like all elected officials. I'm sure you get letters, emails, people talk to you on the street, maybe stop you in church, at the grocery store. How's it running? 60-40 in favor, 50-50? Where are we on this?
You know, it's interesting.
In your districts.
So Jeff probably has a bigger footprint from which to anticipate, you know, how people are going to go. I think in District 19, it's the urban core. People live there for very specific reasons, right? They live there because they recognize the advantages of kind of an urban land use environment, and so they're naturally predisposed to maybe relying on their car less and expecting transit. I have been asked far more often, where can I get a yard sign to support transit, than I have you know, had people be very disgruntled about this. So I think in District 19 in particular in Nashville, I'll be certainly paying attention to what the final vote count is within the boundaries of my district, but ultimately I think I would expect District 19 to be at least at that 60-40 mark.
Senator, what are you hearing?
I mean, I don't like to get into predictions, but I mean, I think it's going to win amongst the people I represent in District 21 in the state Senate. But I mean, what I'm hearing is I think people know that we need to do something, want to take action. And they have, but there are some people that have questions about this plan. Usually, when you actually have a conversation and provide them with real information about what's in the plan or how it's going to be paid for, that usually addresses their concerns, unless they're just not for spending money on almost anything. I mean, here's my problem, Pat, is that the people who are against this plan for being too big and too much about trains, they were against the AMP because it was too small and too much about buses. Like, it's the same people that were opposed to us spending more on the interstates. The opposition is coming from here that's on the professional side is just against public investment on infrastructure, period, the end.
But there are people who are concerned because it doesn't put money available to do anything for affordable housing. They see it more as a development plan, not a transit plan, and they're worried that that's not being addressed. Councilman, I know you have a big interest in those two issues.
Right. Is
it an either-or proposition? Are you going to have to, is Metro going to have to choose which way they spend their money?
My dream vision here is that you actually have the city's mobility advocates marching in lockstep with our housing advocates, because transit and affordability are so closely linked together.
That's not what's happening in this campaign.
It's certainly not what's happening. I think, you know, and that's one of the most, I think, difficult propositions here. Is I look at it and I say, council has done an extraordinary amount of work to tackle the affordable housing issue ever since we took office. We passed an inclusionary zoning bill, which unfortunately was just preempted by Senator Yarborough's colleagues. We have passed $10 million
it hasn't passed the House yet. It's not passed both houses. They're still deciding what to do.
We'll see.
Yeah, you're right.
I can't be. I'm not an optimist on that. We've passed $10 million of incentive grants. We have allocated $25 million in general obligation bonds. The Barnes Housing Trust Fund has increased its level of investment year over year to $10 million and has allocated bigger sums than ever. I mean, council is working hard on this right now as we speak. The Planning Commission is considering the first transit-oriented development district for Donaldson, and I know my colleague Councilman Mendez and others are working very hard, as am I, to ensure that that plan incorporates affordable housing. If we're successful in the work that we're doing, and obviously I'd love to have the support of more of the housing advocacy community on this, we're going to generate more affordable housing specifically because of transit than if we continue to do nothing.
Senator, I know that you're probably one of those who is concerned that this is one of the most important elections Metro has faced, maybe as important as the creation of Metro, maybe as important as liquor by the drink, maybe as important as the football stadium or the English-only vote. But the idea that it's going to be 10 years before we get back to having the vote is not a little bit excessive? It won't take it that long. If it's this important a problem, I want to be back on the ballot with another issue, another alternative, much more quickly than that.
That's presuming that there's no changes at the legislature, which is not something that I would presume. There was a bill this week that would have actually undermined our ability to do this. You got to get through probably 2 mayoral elections. This Improve Act sets out a pretty rigorous policy for what you need to do to actually get both the public input, do engineering, do a different plan, get all the financial things in order. We have been working on this proposal for numerous years before the Improve Act even passed.
Well, there have been lots of alternative plans come out in the last couple of weeks, and isn't that confusing? We both had one from one of your colleagues. This was Councilman Swope.
I literally had
talking
somebody
about double-decking the inner loop and talking about using autonomous vehicles. He says that can be done in 5 years with private investment for a cost of only $1 billion. This program is $5 billion, almost $6 billion.
The problem with 11th hour plans is that everybody's got one. Look, unicorns are wonderful modes of transportation and extraordinarily difficult to catch. What we have caught is a plan that incorporates the best of transit policy and public input and is derived specifically from things Nashvillians have told us over and over again they want.
It's not a serious plan if it's coming out right at the last minute, and I think everybody knows that. I mean, this is a plan that is built on some magical thinking, comes from the land of make-believe, and we need a plan that deals with the traffic problems that we have right now in a real way.
Senator Jeff Yarborough, thank you for coming on the show. Councilman Freddie O'Connell, thank you as well. We'll see what happens on May 1st. It's going to be a very interesting evening. And thank you for joining us on Inside Politics. Hoping back here again for a future show. If you can't get enough politics in the meantime, go to the News Channel 5 website. You'll find my Capitol View commentary there. There's a new commentary posted every Friday afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you back here next time. Goodbye.